All right, guys, welcome back to another episode, GPPD podcast. I'm here with my boy, Nate, and we got Officer Gilbert here today. It's going to be good because I've been knowing him for all my career here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Took the academy together?
No, he came in shortly after I got here, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So we did a nice little stint up north. We'll get into that. Some fun times. Before we get started, so I know we're still hiring. Please get online, grandprairiepolice.org. Different departments, man. I know we need help, detention, in the jail. They've raised the salary. You got some good hours. Look into it. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. Also, 911 communications dispatch, as we say. Same thing. So even if they're staffed, it doesn't hurt. Get online. Please look into that. Pays very well. All right. So this is a little different for us because it's, 8 in the morning?
8 in the morning.
Yeah. So we're all straggling in.
Yeah. But it's not 8 in the morning because 8 in the morning, we would have been 8 if everybody was on time. Everybody wasn't on time.
Hey,
blame it on traffic, right?
let me tell you something. I leave the house every day at 5:15, and so shifting my schedule to the right a little bit because there's no traffic at 5:15 in the morning, right? Leaving an hour later, dude.
Oh, completely different.
Oh, man, yeah. It's just nonstop on I-20. Terrible.
Where do you live?
Where I can tell it's
Are
just
you east or
west.
west? Okay.
It's west. Not quite Abilene. But dude, I'm out there. No, I'm in Granbury. So I got a little bit of a commute. I live on the east side of Granbury though, so it's not as bad. We have a couple dudes that live on the west side of the lake, and that's an extra 30 minutes just having to navigate around the lake.
How far is Granbury as it is?
What's that?
How far is Granbury as it is?
To my front door, it's 45 miles from the front gate to my front door.
Yeah.
So it's solid. Yeah, solid drive.
Yeah. Was it a lot of fog this morning?
Well, coming off the lake, yeah, but once I got up to Benbrook, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, that fog, it hit us. It hit me hard this morning. We bumper to bump.
Mm-hmm.
And growing up, my dad used to commute a little over an hour every day, and I always thought there's no way in hell.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to commute to my last apartment 30-ish, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I came here, and my commute's minimal. Which is really nice in the beginning, but now we live around. There's so much stuff going up around us, and so many people coming in.
Yep.
It's man, I need to get out.
Well, dude, when I started here, I lived up in 10 sector, off of 360.
Oh yeah.
And so it was wake up, throw on my gym shorts, drive 5-10 minutes into work. Cool, get dressed. There's something to be said though for that decompression time now, switching from cop to dad and husband on the way home, and I always say changing my mask on the way in, getting the mindset right. So it's weird right now because I'm no longer in a uniform position. So I've never been the one that drove into work in uniform. So talking about shifting gears or whatever. I come in this every day now versus when I was on patrol or whatever. We work together. Dude, I was so big on I got to have a separation. Getting dressed here. Don't bring it home.
Yeah.
That was the opposite because I always ran late. I need to be in uniform so that when I come in the parking lot sideways, I just run the detail.
Despite my tardiness today, man, I'm always a nervous wreck if I'm not 45 minutes to an hour early, right? So if I came on shift at 07, I was here at 6:15, so I could not be rushed, have my coffee, do my little meditation towards the latter years of my uniform duties and all that stuff. And I didn't want to I hated to start my day rushed, man. Because then it just transferred to my patience was gone already.
Oh yeah.
And I wasn't good at my job.
I'm the same way. So as a captain, our coach used to say, "Nope, if you're on time, you're late."
Exactly.
If practice starts at 7, you got taping, pads, putting all your stuff together. He was like, "You probably need to hit that locker room at 6:30."
Yep.
No, not your boy. I'll be there at 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like rushing, man.
6:55.
My man.
But I'm there.
Yeah.
And I'm in uniform.
I'm present up here.
Yeah, I'm
physically.
here.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I might be in a little bit of a bad mood because I'm in a hurry. But
Nah, not you, man.
Yeah, that's funny.
I say that facetiously.
Well, okay, so now let's just we'll back it all the way up. So,
All right.
how did you get into law enforcement? Because I hear that you're lateral. So, how did you just get started?
Dude, I needed a job.
I love an honest answer. Me too.
I was not the kid that grew up wanting to be a cop, man. I was a kid who the cops were at the house all the time, but I didn't want to be a cop growing up, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, the market crashed in '08 with what I was doing. I say, like, we have a bunch of first-generation cops, like a family business. I have a ton of cousins that are police officers. And so I called one of them and said, hey, dude, I'm about to be out of a job. How do I do this cop thing? Like, I'm interested in it.
Yeah.
And so a couple more calls got made. I got into a police academy. I got a sponsorship as a reserve officer for my last department, the department I started with.
Yeah.
So unpaid, basically. I needed a sponsorship to get into the academy.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I was gonna say I don't see how it improves the unemployment.
No,
I'm unemployed. I'm gonna go work
dude,
for free.
I was delivering kegs and margarita machines and bounce houses to pay bills while I was in the police academy. You know,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah, I didn't finish the margarita machine sometimes. And we got to get rid of it.
Don't waste it.
No, I mean, I don't want to pour it in their grass. So I started in the police academy, and then right when I got to the end, I'd been applying with other agencies throughout the academy. I had like no contact with the department that sponsored me. You know, like they just told me, hey, we're going to let you write our name. And
So it was one of those. They sponsored you, but they didn't guarantee you a job.
Because I've never heard of a PD
Yeah.
sponsor before.
Yeah.
yeah, so like I went to a regional academy at Tarrant County,
Okay.
right? And at the time, this was like the police market was booming, right? So they were having full classes of sponsored cadets only, or sponsored recruits, whatever the PC term is. these
Like
days.
somebody else is paying for it?
Yeah, or they got a department backing, right? So like
Okay.
these departments, so we have our own academy, but say we sent guys out, they would get preference, like to get started sooner. So on the schedule, like, hey, we got a class starting every 6 weeks, you would get the front seats or whatever with the department backing. So when I called over there, the academy coordinator at the time was Scott Donaldson, good dude. But he goes, yeah, man, we can start you in like 9 weeks. And I said, bro, I need a job, sir. Like, I can't.
Yeah, 9 weeks.
9 weeks isn't going to cut it for me. He goes, well, if you can get sponsorship, we can get you in sooner. And so, again, like, reached out to family who had some connections with the department, went through the process really quick, and, you know, wham, I'm in the academy. I had been applying with other agencies throughout my time in the academy. And then right before I graduate, this certain agency representatives show up, and they're like, hey, sir, you know, I'm so-and-so, good to meet you. When can you start? I was like, today, tomorrow, you know, whatever. We're not going to pay you, but you can come out and we'll hold your commission and, you know, this and that. And so, yeah, man, I ended up working dispatch. I was working full-time patrol for free because, I mean, once you get a taste of
40
it.
hours a week?
Yeah, to do FTO. And then working full-time dispatch at the same time to get paid, right?
It's called being pimped, my friend.
Yeah, you know, but dude, I'd have done the job for free. Like once I got a taste of it,
Yeah.
it was addicting.
I always make fun of volunteer firefighters, but I never met a volunteer cop.
Yeah. So, well, the agency I was at was a Tri-Cert. Funny you bring that up. So I had zero designs of being a firefighter or medic ever. Right. And so, long story short, I ended up landing a full-time job there. They had an opening come up, and they're like, "All right, son, you got to go to fire academy, but first you got to go get your EMT." Can I just take less pay and not do those things?
Right, yeah.
Because like I don't want to be a firefighter. Like, nah, cool. If you want your job, you're gonna go do these things. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, man. Actually, I held my EMTB and firefighter certifications for several years.
Yeah.
And then I got here and was like, do I get paid extra for keeping all these? No.
Nah.
Yeah, well, those can go.
I had whenever things got rough at my previous agency, I entertained the idea of doing the fire side.
Yeah.
And I actually looked at Grand Prairie's entrance exam, but then they and I would have done it had they not shown a video of what it was.
Yeah.
And they showed you having to climb the ladder as part of the test, and it was like the ladder was meant as a physical test. I'm like, I can do that.
That's a psychological test, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
Under no circumstances.
The ladder up in the air?
Yeah, they did a ladder
It was
track and boom it all the way
70
out.
feet or 45
I'm
degrees.
done.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized. I started talking to a couple of guys on my previous agency's fire department, and I was like, man, I just don't know if I could like really get up and going if to get run into a house fire for like a dope fiend who set the house on fire themselves, and they're like, yeah, you might not should do this job.
No. Now, like, hindsight being 2020 and like as far into my career as I am, dude, I'm not gonna say that I'm not jealous of like
Oh, yeah.
getting to play video games,
Yeah.
sleep, work out on duty all the
day.
time.
Yeah.
Because I will crash the firehouse every now and again and go eat food with them. When I was working in the 20s, you go hit Station 1 up, and have dinner with them or have breakfast. But, dude, lazy
I'm not gonna
boys,
lie, dude. If I
TVs,
could do it
bro,
over
nice
again-
gym.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my little brother just got through with Fire Academy.
Very nice.
Yeah. It was like, I was trying to push him to our side, and man, he's just quite a bit smarter than I am.
You just hate him.
Yeah. Trying to
Every
make
time my
him, trying to
kids
make a
mention
man
it.
out of him, bro. Yeah.
Every time my kids mention it, I'm just like, dude, being a firefighter is
Where it's
looks
at.
awesome.
Yeah.
And we know some of the guys too, and we always give them a hard time about not working. They do work.
Yeah, I was gonna say they work
And
hard.
when they do work, they're really working. They're doing stuff I'm not
Oh,
cut
yeah.
out to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, just it looks nice.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. We have a good relationship here in Grand Prairie with our
Oh
FD.
yeah, I was gonna say I love them. I drop by and because we do tours with the kids and we'll take a group of kids over there and seeing how they operate day to day is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, y'all get paid to do this?
No
that's
joke.
Dope. That is
Yeah.
dope. Okay, so how long were you there at that agency?
Man, I want to say just shy of 5 years.
All right, so
So like 4 and change.
Yeah. So all in, hell, you're close to me, 15,
Yeah.
16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be here 10 years. I think it's May.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd have to take off my boots and count, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get that for a second. Sorry.
It's all right.
If it was in crayon, I bet you get it.
Yeah, I was like,
That coffee is gonna kick in a
I was
minute.
like,
That's what he said.
did they issue your boots and you like wrote the date down?
No,
Or like,
for the audience, I'm talking about using my fingers and toes to count my years of service.
because it's more than 10.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's all right, bro. It'll be me next. It's
I guess more.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So what caused you to make that jump?
Yeah.
Dude, I realized really quick that wasn't a career department. It was a small department. You did everything, dude. You wore every hat. But there was no real crime. Like you had to go catch it. Like it was it had some thoroughfares that ran in between two major cities. So I don't like being I'm not a traffic cop. I don't like going out and running traffic and all that stuff. That never, it wasn't my thing. But that was the only way you could really get into stuff there. And man, I fell in love with law enforcement when I started. So decided to start looking for a career department that, I wanted to make one move. I didn't want to bounce around, want to do it once. Because, it was going to be a start over thing. And
Yeah.
so, dude, I went all over the place. I looked down at San Antonio, looked at Fort Worth. At the time, I know right now, I make you cringe a little bit. I looked at California.
Dodge the bullet.
Back then, because, dude, I mean,
Yeah.
back then it wasn't bad,
Yeah.
And then my cousin tells me, "Hey, dude, have you talked to Grand Prairie or looked at Grand Prairie?" And I said, "No, man, I haven't. It's just one of those because like it falls in between two major cities."
Right.
And man, he goes, "Dude, you need to go check it out." And so I had a contact over here, and I reached out, and it was Scott Robinson, and at the time it was Sergeant Robinson. So we started talking, and he told me, "Hey, this is what it's going to take to get over here." So started training, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
That's also the reason I'm here.
Yeah. When he says start training, even as a lateral, for those listening, you still have to come in because you still have to do the PT test.
Yeah. The rules are the same.
Yeah.
I mean, you're expected to meet what the basic PT standard is and all that stuff. And dude, it doesn't get easier. Like
I was gonna say, as we get older,
as you get older, you spend all those years on night shift eating garbage and then not sleeping and then all the other junk that comes along with it.
Yeah.
Dude, it doesn't get easier. So there was, Scott's deal was, don't embarrass me. Like,
Yeah,
you
I'm
better
putting
come
my
over
name
here
down.
and knock it out of the park. If I'm talking to you. So, I didn't want to let him down.
Yeah, I remember Sarge. So now just looking back, so I know you said it was a smaller agency or department. What are some of the biggest differences? And I asked that because I got stopped in a small town going home, and the guy was like, we were just talking. He was like, yeah, I make the arrest, I do the fingerprints, I take you in, I ask all the questions. Like he said, he was from start to finish, and I'm like, dude, you're a police officer. He was like, yeah.
Yeah, dude, start to finish. A lot of times you're working alone. So
Yeah.
like here, you don't work alone.
Yeah.
Man, like you're riding alone, but if something happens, you're not alone.
Yeah.
They're two man at night. That was it.
Oh,
and
okay.
a lot of times, if a dude called in sick, it was you. And then you were depending on another agency to
Wait,
send help.
no. You're saying two men. Like
You're not running two.
Not right,
units?
two man. I'm talking about two dudes in the city.
Wait, I'm not laughing, but
That the bare minimum required to respond to a domestic disturbance, right? So you got 4 square miles of residential and commercial development, and you got two dudes, and but one calls in sick. A lot of times it's one dude.
You just hope it's not a drinking day for the city.
Yeah. You're you get close to your other agencies that are touching you, that are
Yeah.
surrounding you, but you're having to monitor 3 channels. You're monitoring your channel and 2 other agencies' channel to make sure that hey, east side of this city has availability,
Right.
and west side of this city has dudes available. Something kicks off. But you're handling, you got to handle everything by yourself. So you would arrest people routinely by yourself with no back. Like you said, take them, fingerprint them.
Yeah.
You were the jailer. You did everything. Dispatch, was co-located in the jail. So it was like a pod in the middle of the holding area.
y'all
So
had
they
your own
did the
jail?
feeding. It was like a 4-cell.
Right.
it was a room like this.
It was like
Put a curtain up in the middle.
it was like Mayberry, dude. It was like the old Andy Griffith.
Sir, stay on that side.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So you do everything, and then like as you progressed and learned things, like dude, you would write your own cases up, investigate your own stuff.
That's what I was thinking, because some of that has always kind of appealed to me, like the idea of doing like a more rural, like a No Country for Old Men type of like I show up, I take it from now that I've done the investigative side, it's like I could do. I mean, I suck at getting fingerprints, but besides that, like, I could get used to doing that. But the whole 2 guys for a city thing wouldn't be crazy about it.
Yeah, it was interesting, man. Like it was like a lot of cowboy.
bet,
So
yeah.
I mean, you're rocking and rolling, dude, because you got to figure out how to be self-sufficient, which was good because like coming over here, then it's just like this is like Candyland, man. Like we got all this cool equipment, awesome training, bunch of dudes, and it's like okay, man, I already know how to be self-sufficient under stress, and it's like now I got all these other dudes to come hang out with.
Yeah. I remember when I came over, I got in trouble for handcuffing by myself. Because that's what I was used to.
Yeah,
like
I got the same verbal counseling from a lieutenant.
They were, no, don't do that. Just call somebody. But it may take them 5 minutes. No, it won't take them 5 minutes.
I had called somebody. I just got bored. I ran out of pay. I'm like, oh, this person is.
Yeah, they know
awkward.
something.
They're well. It's like I'm not overly concerned that they're gonna like hurt me or try to run or do anything. Like they're pretty compliant. And then my back shows up, and it just happens to be my shift commander. Jumped the back and pulled up, and I got this person in handcuffs already. And he's like, "Yeah, man, we don't do that here."
Yeah.
It's like, Roger that, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. My bad.
We got used to always riding with other people. So it's like the idea of calling somebody to show up, to sit there and wait to show up. You're bothering them to come so you can handcuff somebody. And then they show up and you go click, click, and it's over. And they're looking at you like, I came this
Thanks
whole way
for your
that.
service.
Yeah. All right. So you mentioned, and of course it's just going to be sporadic, but you're married with kids, right?
Married with a kid.
A kid. Okay.
Yeah, I got a 5-year-old little girl.
Oh,
How's sleep?
spoiled
Dude,
princess.
she's like doing the reverse thing. Like when she was younger, dude, she slept all night. I mean, it was just super easy, very regimented. Now, dude, she's like on a 80-year-old man schedule.
I don't know what that means.
It means like she wakes up, like I get up at 4:15 to 4:30, like daily. That's my routine get up time. She's up before I am. She's usually up at 4, standing in my doorway, like, "Hey, what's for breakfast?"
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, I mean, she stands there, so I get up. My go-to breakfast is steak and eggs. She stands at the stove, and she's like, "You cooking steak for me?" It's like, "No, this is for me. Your mom, when she gets up, she's gonna cook you breakfast." She's like,
When you wake up when you're supposed to.
"No, I want steak." But dude, walking in the bedroom in the middle of the night, man, she's like a little ninja, dude. She, like, I'll lock the door, and she unlocked it without me waking up, which is scary. The other day, and I woke up, and she was in between my wife and I, and I'm like, "Did you get here?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "I know for a fact I locked the door before I went to sleep."
Better than her kicking it, I guess.
Yeah.
You just wake up,
Yeah.
the door handle's gone.
Yeah.
Crap.
Yeah. So no, man, it's fun. It's dude, it's a learning experience, like being a girl dad. Because with the little boy, I feel like some of the things you just
Yep. Rough.
Yeah.
Rough around the edges.
give him a little pop, and it's like, "Hey, man, carry on with business." But her, not so much.
Yeah. Yeah. So, is your wife supportive? Is she, or not supportive?
Is
but
she a good spouse?
Whoa,
No. Does she stress?
Which camera do I need to look at
you-
to say yes?
Are you
Does she
happy?
stress?
I love my wife.
Yeah. Does she stress when you come to work? Like, is it, "Babe, I'm concerned"? No,
Dude.
you got it. Go.
Not so much anymore. It's a weird dynamic. So my wife is a nurse, right?
Okay.
So she worked cardiac ICU for 10 or 11 years. So like high stress,
Yeah.
people dying every day,
she
kind of
used
thing,
to-
man. So it was good. Like she understands the stress, the life and death dynamic stuff. And then like being on patrol and SWAT at the same time, it was always fun. I never had to explain to her that like patrol is substantially more dangerous than SWAT is.
Right, yeah.
SWAT, I'm with a bunch of dudes that are meat eaters that train all the time, that work together as a tight knit unit. On patrol, you're by yourself. You're driving a big black and white Shamu down the street that is a target, dude.
Yep.
So she stressed a lot more when I worked uniform patrol. She would be worried a lot, and things would happen. And I went through a little stint, man, where it's like critical incident, and it's like, oh man, I just happened to be there. It was one of those kept happening.
Yeah.
And she'd catch it on the news, and like one of them, I didn't have my phone with me, and she caught it on the news while she was at work. And so, man, like that was a stressful thing, but now not so much anymore, man. SWAT call out stuff happens. She's like, "All right, babe, let me know when you're done."
Yeah.
She doesn't sweat it.
Rolls
so.
over, go back to sleep.
Yeah.
If she wakes up, dude.
Yeah.
No, because baby girl is up, and she's like, everybody needs to get up.
Yeah.
You're like, "Not really. I gotta go
No,
do
dude.
some
My
stuff.
wife,
I
my
can't
wife
cook
has a
eggs."
special power to like, she can sleep through it.
Yeah.
Like my kid, she's in there like shaking her.
Yeah.
She's like, "Mom, I want
No.
breakfast. Mom, turn the TV on." And she's like,
I don't believe that.
No, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't believe it.
No.
I think they just lay there and like, if I stay still long enough.
Yeah, it's faking it,
He'll
dude.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll do it.
Yeah.
No, I'm a light sleeper, bro. Like, if you drop a piece of paper on the floor, I'm up. Like, I can hear my kids' feet coming across the house. I'm like, okay, I know which one that is. What do you want? I'm hungry. Okay.
Oh, dude. The day that she can like feed herself, can be like self-reliant. I want milk. I want water. I want this.
Yeah.
Oh,
You gonna be like,
it's like, can I do this without opening my eyes so I can fall back asleep?
yeah.
But she's a toucher too, man. I hate being touched in my sleep.
Yeah.
Right. And she'll get in the bed and she'll take her hand and put it all over your face to make sure you're like, I think it's like a comfort thing to make sure you're there. Mm-hmm. And dude, if I freak out, right? Yeah. I do not like being touched on my sleep, bro.
Especially not in something that resembles suffocation.
And then I'm held responsible for the words that come out when I wake up because someone's touching my face or slapping me. Right. And it's like, why don't cuss at the baby? You know, oh, it's like, I was dead asleep. Man, I got slapped in the face or I got fish hooked, in the mouth, man. Freaking out, man. Don't yell at the baby like that.
Yeah, just follow up with love words and it's all good, right?
Yeah.
So how do you find it best to kind of balance? Because there are very different types of stresses. Like what you're describing is infinitely more stressful to me than what we deal with on the street. I can readily deal with what we deal with on the street, turn it off, move on. The interrupted sleep, the kid stuff, the finances, the scheduling, all that kind of stuff. I find that to be the actual stressful part of life.
Absolutely.
How do you,
dude? I go to counseling. That's a thing, man. Like EMDR is black magic, bro. I don't go near enough. But
you go through something the department offers, or
I do, yeah, through Forged in Valor. Like I started out with the first responder resiliency a few years back, and then when I was over at training, I wanted to institute a program for the kids to get like as an icebreaker, and that's when Courtney and her group introduced me to Forged in Valor.
What do you do for the kids?
So when I was the academy coordinator,
kids being recruits.
Yeah, the kids. Oh, sorry, dude. Yeah, my bad.
I was like, you said plural. I was like, I thought you had one kid.
The children's.
Like,
yeah, man. Yeah, OPKs, man. Other people's kids.
Gotcha.
Yeah, over there. Let me answer your question first before I just like rabbit hole. I try to have like spots or whatever, like physical actions to shift gears, if that makes any sense. So like a lot of times I sit in my driveway, dude, for like 5 or 10 minutes before I go inside.
Sorry, when you said that, I was like punching a wall.
No.
I'm home.
Yeah. So I got a heavy bag hanging in the garage, just out there chopping wood before I go inside.
Sorry, it's early.
No, dude. No, I'll sit in the driveway 5-10 minutes sometimes, decompress if it's been a rough day. And again, like big time, like not coming in uniform. If I'm doing something, I want to change here because I want to get my mind right for what I'm doing. But like separating those things out. But like you're saying, the more stressful thing, absolutely, like is the little things like the home life, like the jacked up sleep, stuff happening, finances. I over communicate, so like,
same.
Yeah, so like I can't let things slide. If I see something, it needs to be addressed right then because I'll dwell on it otherwise,
Yep.
So like, my wife's like, "Can you just shut up and not?" Like, let's just not talk about it right now. It's like, no, we have to solve the problem now.
Right now.
Or it's not going to get solved. Like, we got to fix it today.
Which, in fairness, is usually right.
Yeah, no. I mean, dude, like I tell her all the time, 98.9% of the time, I'm right.
I'm sure that goes well.
Yeah. So look at the camera over here. Yeah. No. She puts up with a lot of shit. Yeah, she's extremely patient, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does I don't know if you care to elaborate, but like with her job being stressful, is the counseling something you do solo, or is it something that y'all do together?
So I started the counseling thing, and not saying that like she jumped on it because of me by any stretch. I think she saw it had some positive effects, especially in like not emotionally responding to things or having like that knee-jerk reaction at home. And she started going, and dude, I don't want to say it's a competition, but she's kicking the like counseling and like being a better human a thing, as far as like implementing the tool or using the tools that they tell you or whatever. Because I forget to all the time until after I've had an incident, and then it's like, oh yeah, man, I just forgot to breathe. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
It's, how do I say this so that I don't get in trouble? So I started off by like going by myself.
Yeah.
And so like Dr. Kim over there, oh, love her.
Oh, I love Kim, dude. Yeah. I'll tell you a Kim story when you get done that You'll appreciate
and
it.
so, but what he's saying is true. So you find yourself when you start doing some of these things better, your spouse will go, I can see the change. You know what? Let me participate or go.
Yeah.
And so, and then we did. We still do. Sometimes we'll go together. But you have to. This job by itself, like you said, we can all in this room talk about how stressful police work is. Then you add a marriage. Then you add some kids. Then you start talking money and.
So let me throw this out here, right? This is a concept. Like, this is something that I've been thinking a lot about recently. I don't get stressed at work a lot, right? When I was at the academy, like learning stuff, that was by far the most stress I've probably had in this job. But you know what you're doing and you know what to expect, right? So that takes a lot of the stress out of it. I don't care what the situation is, you know. Hey, I know what's expected. I know what my left and right limits are. So that takes a lot out of it. At home, you don't get that. You don't go through a training course in life for, you know, finances, for how to, you know, when you have a sick kid that's in the hospital or you got this or got that. That is way more stressful and harder to deal with and navigate because there's no book. You know, there's nothing telling you, like, this is the way that you do this, right? So, you know, that's something like Kim and I have discussed. You know, it's like, I love coming to work, dude, because it's like stress-free damn near. So,
Yeah.
what else you got?
So I wanted to bring up. A lot of people don't know, but we had the TV show Cops.
Yep.
It's still on air, right? I think.
I think they're back, yeah.
Okay. So we had them riding with us here at GP for a couple of years, maybe.
Dude,
Yeah, it was a while.
yeah, I don't. It seems like when they come for like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, and get a whole bunch of
And
footage.
I mean, they're out like every day. Yeah, they have like 2 film crews that are just out every day.
Yeah, well, I was mad because I tried to get them to ride out with bicycles.
Yeah,
I said, we see just as much, and I was trying to get them to come over to bikes, but they wouldn't. But
Where are they gonna sit?
No, a GoPro. You put it on there, and they get the footage.
yeah,
off
dude,
the
I'm trying to
GoPro.
get the mental
Yeah.
screenshot in my mind of what the hell that would look like.
Yeah, no, you put a
just put
GoPro.
pegs in the back.
Yeah, you give them like the pump. Hey, dude, get up on the handlebars. Yeah, we're about to go.
Yeah, but so you had a crew with you. Talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, man. I got approached about having a crew ride out with me, and I was extremely hesitant to accept. And then I was encouraged to give it a try. So leave it at that. And, you know, but man, I didn't know what to expect. So these dudes show up, and, you know, they get in your car, and I don't like riding with people. I was an FTO for years, dude. I don't like riding with people. You know, I like being by myself, you know, whatever. And now you're in a supervisor ride with no cage. You know, you got sound dude, camera dude. They're changing all the interior lighting in your car. And, you know, it's like, hey, man, we need to have a talk. Like, I need to discuss my ground rules, and then, like, what do you guys, you know, like, what are y'all's rules or whatever? You know, what can I expect from you? And like, well, you know, this is how it works. You know, we have to get consent. Well, what they failed to tell me was, like, you've seen episodes, you're familiar with it. Like, the cops are always chatting up the suspect after the post arrest, right? We don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a thing. You know.
But we know that because you watch the camera, like, you know, I really want you to get your life together.
Yeah.
I care about this.
Yeah, look, Tom. Look, I know you just
You were there
know,
last
pitched
week.
all
You
that
was doing the same.
heroin, you know, out of the stolen vehicle that you were driving, but I am absolutely concerned about your welfare and you being there to raise your kids that you don't know. And dude,
That's funny.
yeah, like the first few arrests we get, hook them up, go through business as usual, transport them, and they're like, "Do y'all not talk to people here?" It's like, why?
Yeah.
Why would I? Like,
got
dude,
it.
I got everything I needed to facilitate the arrest. You
It's
know,
on my
everything went
cameras, it's on your
smooth.
cameras.
Like, well, we need material. You know, we need you to talk these people up. I'm like, you want me to talk up the guy that's like, I mean, he's super pissed right now that he's going to jail.
He's not happy.
And like, you want me to go like make buddies with him and try to get you material? I was like, I'll try, man. But like, look at my face. Like, people don't like it. It's just, I'm the nicest guy in the world, but something about my face, people don't want to talk to me.
I see you open the back door and be like, hey, buddy, how you doing? It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
That was basically it, dude. Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, I don't know what it is about my face, but yeah, people don't like it.
It's also probably the handcuffs.
Yeah, handcuffs. I try to grow this mustache to like let people's guard down. You know, hey man.
You think that lets people's guard
Yeah,
down?
dude, it had the opposite effect apparently.
Dude, cops with mustaches are always the worst.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Nope.
You're not. I mean, yeah. So it's good.
No
I'm keeping
offense
it.
to all the guys out there who have mustaches.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that cliche cop.
I mean,
hey,
I
you're
would
for
say it's
sure
like the
getting a
cops
ticket
that
cop.
don't have hair, more of like the but
watch
yeah,
No, yeah. Pretty good.
all right, yeah, whatever.
Did they cops
Agree to
crew-
disagree.
The cops crew were on shift when I got here,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember the first time I was exposed to them because everybody saw cops. When they were
Oh, yeah,
younger,
dude, yeah.
and I was like,
Yeah.
that'd be cool just to see them around. I didn't anticipate because they weren't riding with me. I didn't anticipate that I would be directly involved in anything. And I made a traffic stop that escalated kind of quickly, and we went up. I actually think you might have been there.
I remember. I can guarantee. I know what you're talking about. The dude had a gun.
Yes.
Yeah, front seat passenger had a gun.
Yes. Yeah. They're from
I remember
Louisiana or
that.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, you were the one standing with him because that was
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
That stop, and it turned into he had like a felony warrant out of Louisiana or something. He had a gun.
Yeah.
He's a felon. It's boy not being a
They
pretty
had
good
like
deal.
a very large sum of money or something. Like they couldn't explain a ton of cash.
Yeah,
and
and it's just-
It was income
stuff
tax
that
season.
didn't add up.
Yeah. And that was when I was still doing things my old agency way. So I escalated things a little bit further past what I would today. And afterwards, they were like, "Yeah, I don't think we're going to use that." But I didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't occur to me at the time that they were the guys. Well, so like I'm dealing with everything I have going on, which is not. It's not a ton, but it's not a simple traffic stop.
Yeah.
And I'm searching cars, finding drugs and guns, all this kind of stuff. And they're just in my face, asking me the dumbest freaking questions.
Dude, yeah.
Like, "Hey, what's that? What does it look like? It's crack.
Yeah.
Like you're a cops guy. How do you not
Yeah.
know it?" And he's like, just ask, "Oh, how'd you get there?" And I'm like,
Oh,
You were here. You saw me point the gun at the guy.
I need you to tell a story. I kept getting that over and over. It's like, I need you to tell the story.
"Well, I got none of that briefing."
Yeah.
They're just asking
Yeah.
me just the
That's
the
funny.
most dumb questions I've ever heard. And I remember I'm at the trunk search and stuff, and the guy asked me another question that was just asinine, and I just stopped what I'm doing. I just kind of look at it, and I'm just like, "What are we?
Yeah.
What are you doing?" Can I just
I
do
don't
my
know,
job?
And they make a note. Don't ride with this guy
Yeah.
ever.
Dude, I was the most thing I was worried about with them was like, the lead in, when they're first introducing the cop they're riding out with on the show, and it's like, oh, I like to hunt and fish, and I do this and I do that. A lot of these guys that sound like goobers, right?
Yeah.
And if you know them in real life, it's like they're solid, squared away
Sure.
guys, right? But we don't like talking about ourselves.
Yeah.
That's like a common cop trait. And so, man, I'm just like, what the hell am I going to say to these people when they ask, like, well, what do you do in your free time? It's like, cop stuff, man.
I watch cops.
I watch cops. I'm all sweaty. Look at me. I was like, I don't want to give like the same canned answer that you hear over and over again or whatever. And every time you do something that they think is episode worthy to submit to an executive producer, you have to do that interview every time. And then they want to get like some shot that is synonymous with your city, like some camera shot, right? Okay. So like the big Grand Prairie sign or like Lone Star Park. So it's a lot of.
So every time you arrest somebody, you're like, "Crap, gotta drive all the
Well,
way
dude,
back
like
to Lone Star Park."
like this person consents. And you're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a good, this would be good for a submission. And it's like, okay, now drive us over here. And it's like you're like dropping the camera guy off on the highway, so he's like on the shoulder. And it's like, make the loop twice, so I have 5 minutes. You drive by, and I want you to look over to your left, so I can get you looking at the camera as you're passing, the Grand Prairie
I'm done.
city
Yeah.
limit sign. And it's like, dude, we're on I-20 right now, and it's drunk 30, bro. Like,
There's calls.
do you want a traffic vest, man?
What are we
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah,
I got lunch in 30 minutes.
yeah. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're like, okay. Yeah, so it's a lot of Hollywood type junk, I would say, but it was interesting. You know.
Yeah, I think that was my only. I was involved. I was involved in a couple of things, but they're very. I was more in the periphery, whatever, in the other
Peripheral.
ones. Yeah.
Periphery works. Yeah.
Yeah, it was more on the outside. You know, I got a couple foot chases or whatever, but I got the t-shirts, which is cool.
Yeah. Got the shirt for sure.
And a coin too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
cool.
I hope they come back, but I'm just pissed because they didn't come to bikes. But whatever.
Hey, just logistically, bud. So.
You can stand on the back and hold that big camera.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can start wearing your own GoPro and like submitting your own footage and narrate it, and you can start a whole new thing.
In their defense, like nobody takes bike cops seriously.
It's the shorts, dude.
Dude, I don't know what
shorts.
it is, but like they. Sorry, they don't. I mean, they tell you.
It's the short pants. Yeah.
I actually just got bike certified, so I'm going to start. And that's why I was talking to some of the guys out there, and I'm not going to say exactly what they said you should be prepared to be called, but they're like, yeah, the hardest part is the job is really just like staying hydrated and being used to being called this.
Getting heckled.
It's like, oh, okay. But yeah, no, and like if you watch some of the body cams, like we do, do solid work. It's really awesome.
Dude. Well, one, watching the school, so they were out at the gun range Thursday, I think, of last week.
Yeah.
So I'm out there stepping out watching them do the school because they're doing like obstacle course stuff and shooting, you know, so we're co-located. And like watching a seasoned bike patrol officer work through like this little stop box thing where you're just sitting on the bike and not putting your feet down. I was like, oh, bro, that's too easy. Like, it doesn't look difficult at all. And then like the first dude in the class that rode up and tried to do it, it was like one and he just like fell over. And it's like, okay, that he's making it look easy. That look this must be much harder than it looks.
Well, when you start, they show you that box, and it's like I think a 9 foot by 9 foot,
9 foot
box, and like, I'm gonna demonstrate this. You're gonna have to do this before you finish. It's probably like one of the harder things that you do. Like, okay, and like I use a jump homemade ramps. So I was like, bikes.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, and
basically a pro.
Yeah, it's been like 17 years. So, whatever. Yeah. And he gets on there. He shows it does 3 little circles one way. It goes out. Does 3 circles the other way. I was like, okay, that's not hard. And then the first time I do it, I just freaking fall over. My tires skids out. I knock over half the cones. And one instructor kept asking me, he's like, what are you doing to make your tire do that? I was like, I don't know, man. But it won't stop.
Dude, so the best one was watching the obstacle course to like the sprint to the end where they had to dismount the bike and then run up and draw their gun and shoot because everybody's legs are pumped full of blood. Like their quads are just locked. And so everyone's knees aren't bending. And then like everybody just eating it, dude. You know, it's like getting off and it looked like the gingerbread man running off that bike and then just face planting. One dude got up, made it 2 steps, ate it again. Yeah. And I feel bad for the kids. Like everybody's laughing and someone's like, oh yeah, I'd be doing the same thing, man. But it was in good fun.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I did. Well, they made the comment before we started, like, yes, we got to do it on the grass, so whenever y'all eat, you won't get hurt. I was like, I've been in bike school like 3 days now. I'm fine. I know how to use a kickstand. Yeah. And then you do it, and as soon as you, first of all, completely drop the bike because my hands just stopped working. Yeah. And then your legs aren't responding. You're like, oh, that's what they meant.
Lactic acid.
Yep.
Yeah, I used to tell them, man, you try to train and push your body so that when you're out, because as we were on bikes, you didn't think that one street over something is going to go down. And it did. You know, me and Schwartz were riding and we're like, oh, you hear that traffic stop? Oh, the guy bailed out. He's running. And we're at that apartment, and you really do. You ride, and then you post up and you have to do some fun work. But, yeah, you have to test your legs because you can get off that bike and collapse not knowing that you've already exhausted all the little energy that you had in your legs. But that was fun. I remember one officer got up. He fell, got up again, fell again. And so I was standing at the gate, and as they were walking out, I mean, it's just blood pouring down people's legs. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like, this is bike school. But
got some good video out of it, man. So it's a good time.
Yeah. Well,
I was going to say something. Crap, what was it?
Now it's the water.
Now you're on the water.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm on coffee number 2 for the day, bro. So
that's number 1. I'm about to go get on it.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
All right, so you mentioned SWAT. How long have you been on SWAT? Are you still on SWAT?
I'm still on. Been on 8 years.
Yeah.
So good time.
Yeah.
I'm currently the TL for the sniper team, so it's been interesting. But do that.
What is TL?
It's a team leader. So being the TL for the snipers is nice because it's a smaller unit within a already small unit being SWAT. But basically, it's making sure that the guys have the equipment that they need, getting the training that they need. Everyone's staying up to date on qualifications. It's an administrator deal. So I mean, it's still got operationally. So my half of the on-call cycle, I'm responsible for me and my guys, and then my ATL, Cody is responsible for his half of the on-call cycle with his guys. I know I see your eyes, right? Scary, huh?
Holy sh**.
Yeah.
He's an ATL?
He is already, man.
God,
Kid's coming up.
that's why I trained him. It just seems
Yeah.
surreal to
Old,
me.
bro.
Yeah, it's amazing what the root things will do, just like straighten them out.
Right. Yeah. You said we shouldn't haze, but look how good it works.
Yeah, man, like,
He turned
he's an
out.
adult now. Yeah, he's a grown cop.
That's crazy.
But yeah, man, do that, and then I just transitioned over to the gun range as the range master
From the academy, right?
From the academy, bro. Yeah,
And the look on your face, it's a high turnover in that position.
it is.
I don't know that from what I've gathered, it's not necessarily as a result of anything wrong per se, but just the nature of that type of
It
work is just it's highly stressful.
You're married to it, man. That's like the
Yeah.
best way I can put it.
Yeah.
And I was warned going in, like the toll, that it takes and the requirements and all that stuff. And man,
Well, we had a Marine Corps drill instructor that did like 2 or 3 years and was like, I need a break.
yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. Dude, and like when I left there, honestly, I was hesitant to take the range because I felt like I was just getting like the hang of running that place and kind of getting it humming. And you got to learn everyone's like little idiosyncrasies and like, how to operate within your confines, right?
Yeah.
And to the best of your ability for the best product out. And I was just feeling like I was getting the swing of it, but the guy that came in and took my place, dude, he like seamlessly picked it up, and I mean, I would say he's doing better than I did.
awesome.
Yeah. So good stuff going on over there.
Was it a relief going to the range from there? As far as like,
It's just different, dude. So at the academy, I have kids knocking at your, I call them kids, the recruits, whether lateral or basics or whatever. You're getting phone calls at 10:30 at night, dude, and it's like, hey, sir, I'm running a slight temperature. I don't know if I'm going to be there in the morning. And it's like, cool, bud. You're an adult. You don't show up till 07. Like, call me at 6:30. Like
Right.
that's ample notice, and we can discuss it. Not while I'm asleep, man.
Right.
But and then they don't know any better, man. Like some of them, this is their first
Yeah.
big kid job.
well, some of them are coming out of the military.
And then some of them come out of the military.
That's exactly what you do.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, dude, funny story. One of the basics coming in as I was exfilling out, there was he was coming out of the military, and he wanted to know about the living situation at the academy.
It's very optional.
Yeah, so it was like, so, I mean, do we get to go home on the weekends or, It was like, who's your background investigator and how did they not explain that you do get to go home? I mean, part of me, dude, for a split second was to be like, yeah, man, bring all your shit and we'll get you a bunk, You get to go home on Friday night after work's done. But, just put him on for the first day. But I didn't want to take the
Then
chance
he would
that
get
was
off
gonna,
work and not have a place to live.
yeah. I didn't want to take the chance of ruining the kid's life. So, it's just funny stuff. But, yeah, I mean, it's constantly, dude, phones ringing. You got to be available for stuff to answer questions. That, man, and, like, their success is your success. So, like, if you want to be good at it, you got to pour into it and, have a really well-rounded knowledge of, like, testing procedures, like, how to be a better learner. So, like, that was something I had to pick up over there was, like, how do you learn? How do we study? So man, diving into like cognitive neuroscience and stuff like that to learn how to teach these kids how to learn and not just learn it, but retain it.
Yeah.
So they have like long-term recall of stuff. And then like the physical aspect of, reality-based training and all that, which, man, we have a really good program going, and I inherited a good program, a good system, and try to make it, a little bit better before I left. But yeah, back to what you were saying, dude, the gun range. When I jumped over there, the guy that I took his place, man, dude, he's a workhorse. And he had the schedule built out already, and so I was like trying to learn the job, and then on top of that, deal with his like workload. I mean, it was just stuff you had to get done. It was stressful for the first few months. It's kind of planed out now that I've kind of starting to learn the ropes a little bit more or whatever. I still got a lot to learn though.
Yeah.
Now, you made a comment a second ago, and I imagine it applies both to the academy and the gun range, because in both areas you're going to deal with basics or the guys who've been here for a while, girls who've been here for a while. But you made the comment that their success is your success. How do you make that, or how does that work out? Because some people don't need to be cops. Like there are just some people academically, physically, mentally, when it comes to judgment,
Right.
aren't gonna cut it. So how do you account for that?
How do you tell them no and put them out?
Well, and how do you keep that from reflecting badly on yourself, as far because you have 3 people in a class who just don't need to be cops? Is that
Man, one of it, like you got to have self-confidence, dude. Like you got to be confident in your decision making, and a lot of that go like I had really good mentors coming through the training system, and I've been doing training stuff for years and years now. You still try, like you give it the old college effort, but you determine pretty quick, like, man, this person does not have it. Like they're not going to make it. And then do you have a candid conversation?
Yeah.
I'd be a jerk about anything, but maybe it's time to go home and have a look in the mirror. Talk is a thing. Really, I try to educate them, and let them make the self determination of like, hey, I don't need to be here or whatever. After giving them as much as I can in the way of an education, to fix deficiencies.
I imagine, and I always say this because we're kind of winding down on time, but I imagine normally I always ask everybody, what's the most embarrassing thing you've ever done? But you've also had the opportunity to be an instructor, which means that you've gotten to see a bunch of other people do embarrassing, stupid things. Just tell a couple what it was.
Yeah, man. I think like being back as a field training officer or whatever, having a recruit, like with make a traffic stop, and this guy was like really riding the struggle bus, and the guy slow rolls us, for quite a while, and you can see this guy's head touching the ceiling, like he keeps lifting up, so he's obviously putting something underneath him or down his pants. It's kind of like what I would think is going on.
Yeah.
And he finally pulls over, and man, the car, like you can smell weed from like our car getting out. And my officer in training, beat bops up there, man, and makes contact, and it's just like hitting him in the face. He's questioning the guy, gets him out, and completely like screws the process up. This guy's wearing gray sweatpants and has a brick like on his inner leg, right? And it's like, that's a giant bag of weed.
It's a
right?
tumor.
Yeah, it's like, that's exactly what that is. Well, he sits the guy down, my back gets there, and he's like, did he check his pants? Like, no, he hasn't checked his pants yet. I'm waiting, because he did like a
That's
quick
the hardest
pat
part
down.
of being an FTO.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, man, I'm gonna give him every opportunity to succeed before anything. And dude, he just whiffed it, man. Searched the car, didn't do it. He had good PC to search the car. Didn't really do what he was supposed to do. I'm like, okay, what are we gonna do next? And he's like, I'm gonna give him a warning, send him on his way. I was like, okay.
With the felony.
And dude, sometimes the best lessons learned are the ones that hurt the most,
Yeah.
right? So I made it a point to contact another officer and have another officer stop him to get the dope, and then kind of like, hey, bro, you missed a whole search of a person,
Right.
and of course, like me and the other officer sitting there, and I mean that. There may have been some tearing up, and I don't do crying very well, so there was like some other, but it was a very embarrassing thing for him, But that's like the first one that comes to mind. My most embarrassing one's super easy. I threw up on a dude at work.
Another officer?
No, suspect, dude. Yeah.
Like because of something they did? I'd say
No, man. So like the last time, not this, the time before the Rangers were in the series, 2010, 2011,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. We were on 31 and on lunch break, and I had ate a whole thing of Irish nachos watching one of the World Series games.
What are Irish
What's
nachos?
Irish?
Potato skins with like jalapenos and hot sauce, and I mean sour cream, dude, just
right,
like
yeah.
loaded potato skins, right? Drinking like a gallon of sweet tea while I'm watching this World Series game or whatever at lunch. And as soon as I get a suspicious call, and it turns into a foot pursuit call.
right.
And so like it's like probably like maybe 400, 500 yard run, and the dude dips into a dumpster. Go to get him out, and he's not really fighting. He's just kind of doing the resisting. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
And dude, by the time I got handcuffs on him, I just Ralph, man, and
Here, you can wear this.
yeah, man, that was I didn't live that down ever. So
Yeah,
that was
imagine that.
that.
I can't
was
believe somebody
embarrassing.
let you eat that stuff.
Bro.
They're like, do you hate yourself?
No, that's well, and that was like another lesson learned. It's like don't eat heavy at lunch at work ever. Don't do that. Pee every opportunity you get.
Yep.
You got to learn the hard way sometimes.
There's a place here called Guana Taco. I used to always try to hit it early for my early lunch and to get
For your early lunch?
Yeah, you got 2 lunches.
That's a detective thing, bro.
yeah.
I don't know about the early lunch.
No, one you eat while you're driving between calls in the early part of the day. You show up to work hungry, and the other one you actually get a lunch break. And I was sitting there, and I was trying to type out a report, and I was eating it, and I set it up on the on my bag, and an assistant went out, so I went to just take off. I set my burrito down in a little cup holder, and then I took a hard left, and the other part of my burrito just went boop all over the window. I was like, well, I'm not going to keep that.
When I was in field training here with he's retired, long retired now, but he would get a QT giant styrofoam Dr. Pepper, styrofoam cup Dr. Pepper every day. And again, he's retired, so he wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
Yeah.
And we're in the passenger seat, and a pursuit kicks off from a step unit, and we're going down Barden, and there's this huge dip at like Barden and Matthew, right? And I'm new, like I'm none the wiser. Dude, I am flying, right? And I don't know that this dip's about to hit. I hit that dip probably doing 75.
Oh, God.
And I look over, and my FTO is in the air, head crushing against the ceiling, and then that damn Dr. Pepper dude is just rocketing to the ceiling, and it exploded. And now there's Dr. Pepper freaking everywhere on the dash, windshield, console, me, him.
Oh, man.
And it's like even though I was like a veteran-ish officer when I came over, it's like, oh, I'm
But
fired.
you don't know the spots like that.
Well, not that, man. I was like, dude, this is not going to reflect well on my daily observation report, right? I was like, oh. And I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. And this like pursuit's terminated. Like right after that, the officer in the pursuit called it. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, sir. I was like, we'll stop. I'll clean it up. And he's like, it's my fault, brother. It was my fault. I knew that was there, and I didn't tell you anything. I was like, fair enough.
Did he retire from the Marshals?
Yes.
No,
yeah, you know what I'm talking
I know,
about.
as soon as you do the voice, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. One of a kind.
That's awesome. Well, you got anything? Well, I appreciate you sitting down with us, man.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
Hopefully
Enjoyed it. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, glad you could step away from the range for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm starting the kids late today, so I could be here.
All right, guys.
Till next time.